It's the only car that I've ever driven that's really, truly satisfied me. It does everything that I've wanted the car to do.
You might think it hard to love a car that looks like a bathtub on 4 wheels. You might think it hard to love the car that helped Ralph Nader make a name for himself. But just as sure as Lee Iacocca would love to peddle you a K car, there are people who do.
I'm sure they wonder about this eccentric old man from Middleton, I'm sure.
But you don't feel like it's all that eccentric?
Not really. Somebody has to save a few of them. Junk dealers are all crushing them, you know.
Ev White of Middleton loves his Corvairs, all 140 of them. That's how many he's had scattered around his used car lot at one time. About 80 are left. 4 have been restored to first-class condition.
No, never bought one until '67 when I went on my own, and I started buying them to resell, and in '70 I started buying them to save.
Why are there Corvair collectors?
Well, most of the people that collect Corvairs are past owners, and they want another one. Most of them regret ever having gotten rid of their other one.
The Corvair was General Motors' first fling with economy cars. It was aimed at competing with Ramblers. The first ones rolled off the assembly lines in the summer of 1959, back in the days when people thought Toyota, Subaru, and Mitsubishi were the double play threat of the Yokohama Giants. Today, people know they are not baseball players. General Motors knows that too, although Corvair aficionados admit their beloved car, which was vanquished from the production lines May 14th, 1969, couldn't have lasted until its day had come.
Well, it was never a money maker for General Motors, first of all, so they naturally had to quit it. It come at a wrong time, you know. The people wanted high-performance cars, like Mustangs and Novas and such.
Do you think General Motors was ever really behind the car, or was it?
Well, they were at first till maybe '64 or '5, but then in '65 they decided to drop it. Sales dropped because they quit advertising, and then Ralph's book come out, which didn't help it any.
I think when we talked on the phone the first time, you asked if I was going to bring Ralph Nader out here. What would have happened if I would have?
Well, I wouldn't mind meeting him. But I think a lot of what he said was unfounded and unnecessary. I think it caused the reputation of a good car to go down.
Corvair enthusiasts feel their car has been vindicated. They feel it's now Nader's reputation that is tarnished. The Corvair, meanwhile, remains a collector's oddity of sorts, an economy car that's still an economy car.
Well, you could take $3,000 or $4,000 and buy a very nice Corvair convertible.
First Corvair I ever owned was a 1963 Monza. I bought it brand new.
Do you remember what it was that made you buy it instead of something else?
Well, I liked the way they handle. I'd seen them shortly after I got out of service, and I went to the dealership and tried one out, and I liked the way they drove. And they were sporty, and they had to have one.
And Madison service station owner Tom Severson still has one. He, his wife, and kids have several. While Severson is the president of the Capital City Corvair Club, he doesn't view the car just as a collectible. It's something more down to earth, transportation.
There's a lot of people in our local club and the national club that have just recently got into Corvairs within the past few years. Some are doing it because they are starting to get collectible to a certain extent, but there's a lot of them that have them for that purpose, and the way they like the way they drive, so they've got them that they drive every day too. Well, this is going to be my wife's car when I get it done, and she's going to drive it every day because it's economical, and of course being a convertible is sporty, and she likes it, and that's what we're going to use it for everyday car.
What do you think the Corvair would do on the market if they were building them today, this car? If this were available in a showroom, you think it'd be popular?
Oh, definitely. It has the engine over the drive wheels, and a lot of the cars today have the engine over the drive wheel but in front, and it makes for better traction and better feeling car. And I'm sure the Corvair would be selling, like with the Citation, for instance. they're waiting in line for that car, and I'm sure they'd be waiting in line for the Corvair.
Check my custom machine. Rusted metal plate blue with the Corvette grill. Check my custom machine.
Some cars, like the Mustang, almost beg to be collected. But Corvairs,
On the gas you go.
it's not Ralph Nader that makes you wonder why. It's just the type of car it was. Collecting Corvairs is sort of like collecting Volkswagen Rabbits, although someday they may be collectibles too. In the search for the why in this story, we can only turn to the people who do.
Well, it's different. It's differently engineered. You know, I think that's the big thing, you know, the fact that it was different.
Like the new cars, there's a lot more electronics. These are the basic old car, I would say. They're easy to work on. They're kind of cute, kind of ugly in a way, too, and they're fun to drive. They attract attention.
And to the collectors of other cars, like Rolls-Royce restorer Harry Beach of Milwaukee, who took time to speak to the restorers of a car of lesser renown.
You're not surprised that people collect Corvairs?
No. They even collect motorcycles, outboard motors. There's all kinds of things being collected today. Match covers, beer cans. Seems to be a collecting outfit. Everybody.